Hello students, we will learning the chapter Establishment of Colonial Authority, and today we will learn about the different land revenue systems or the land revenue policies that was taken up by the company during their rule. Now if we look at the different land revenue policies, we have to know that India was an agriculture based country, mainly the Bengal, Bihar, Orissa, this part of the British regime or the areas that were controlled by the British. From these parts of India, a huge amount of revenue was collected because the land was fertile. And in 1765, when the Diwani right, when the East India Company got the Diwani right from the Mughal Emperor, they collected a huge amount of land revenue. And the company came to know that, or the company understood that they could earn a lot of money from this land revenue or from the revenues collected from land. And so they focused all their attention on the collection of revenues, how to increase the collection of revenues from land. And for this purpose, they undertook one measure after another. And we see that there were persons like Diwan Riza Khan and Siddharth Roy, who were collecting a huge amount of revenue from Bengal, Bihar and Orissa. And the method they were using for the collection of revenue was exploiting or torturing the farmers and the peasants and forcing them to pay a huge amount of revenue. Whatever was the method of collection of revenues, they were able to contribute to the wealth of the company. That is, the company's income increased to a great extent. That is, the company was earning a lot of revenue. And during this time, we find that the condition of Bengal was not good because there was the famine and there was this dual government that Robert Clive had introduced. And after that, also the governor generals who had come to Bengal, they were all focusing on the collection of revenue. They were not thinking about the condition of the farmers. Means whatever policies was taken up by the government, by the British, they were meant for, they were using coercion or force. They were forcefully exploiting the farmers. They were collecting a huge amount of revenue. Then we find that in the year 1770, the Comptroller Councils of Revenue was established in Patna and Murshidabad. Now the purpose was to find out the corrupted employees of the company who were using force or who were torturing the farmers and forcing them to pay. Though this was done, but it did not help in improving the condition of the farmers and the peasants. And we find that the Court of Director, it ordered the principal officers in Calcutta to recover the condition of famine-stricken Bengal, because Bengal was going through a miserable condition. There was a lot of complaint about the company officials or how they were looking after Bengal. So the Board of Directors, they ordered the officers, the principal or the main officers in Calcutta to do something, to take some measures so that the condition of famine-stricken Bengal, it improves. During this time, Warren Hastings was sent as the Governor General to Bengal. When he came to Bengal, the first thing that he did was to sack Reza Khan, Diwan Reza Khan and Siddharth Roy from the post of collection of revenue. He removed them from this position and he appointed a class of what we can say employees, and he appointed a number of employees for the collection of revenues who came to be known as collectors. So now not only two persons were not responsible, there were a group of employees who were collectors, who were collecting the revenue. And what we find that a board of revenue was formed, and this board of revenue was responsible for finding out how much revenue is going to be collected. That is, what the amount of revenue that they are going to collect. Under the Board of Revenue, there was the Committee of Circuit, and the Committee of Circuit would determine how much, this was the amount what would be fixed up. So there was the Board of Revenue which used to collect the amount of how much revenue the company is going to collect, and under this board there was the Committee of Circuit. And the Committee of Circuit was given the responsible to go to the different parts of Bengal and find out about the land and about how much revenue the land was going to give. And during this time, we find that in the year 1772, Warren Hastings introduces the 5-year settlement plan. It was a policy of earning or collecting land revenue, and the period determined was 5 years. That is, the committee of circuit used to go to different parts of Bengal. They would see the land and then they would auction the land for a tenure of 5 years. That is, they would give the land for 5 years to the landlords, and in return of this, the landlords would provide the revenue to the company. And through this system, the company thought that there would be a smooth collection of revenue. In 1773, the Regulating Act was introduced. There were some changes made, and when this 5-year settlement plan was going on, during that time only the 1-year settlement was introduced in 1775. And we find that in 1776, Warren Hastings introduced the Amini Commission, or reformed the Amini Commission. So these measures of Warren Hastings was again to ensure that the company was able to collect the amount of revenue that they had estimated, and it could also at the same time improve the condition of the collection of revenues and that of Bengal also. But neither of the 5-year settlement or the 1-year settlement was able to improve the condition of the farmers, because we see that under both the systems, the farmers were the worst sufferers. They were suffering a lot because the landlords who had taken the land, they were taking a huge amount of rent from these peasants, and they fled away without paying the revenues to the company. So neither the company was getting the benefit nor the farmers' condition was improving. Then we see that Lord Cornwallis, he comes as the Governor General. During his time, the 10-year settlement of land revenue was introduced first in Bengal and Bihar, and then in Odisha, that is in the eastern part of India. The 10-year settlement of land revenue was introduced. And the board of, the important persons who were there in the company, they legalized, or they gave the sanction, that is the board of directors. They thought that this settlement of, or this policy of Warren Hastings, or the permanent settlement as it came known afterwards, would be able to ensure the collection of revenue from the land by the company. So, under Warren Hastings and also under Cornwallis, we find that different land revenue policies had been introduced so that the company was going to earn a lot of wealth from the revenues. But we have to keep in mind that neither of these policies meant or could improve the condition of the farmers or the peasants in India. Now, we have completed this part of the chapter. What you have to do is to read this portion, because this portion is important for short objective questions. There are lots of dates and names of the commissions and committees formed by the company. So, for that you have to read the chapter and learn it in such a way that you can answer the objective or short questions from this part of the chapter. So, that is all for today. Thank you.